Mr. Jamie Hancock from Preps Nation to talk some Auburn Tigers. We talked about it last week, Jamie. Whoever's backyard it is, I guess it's Alabama's backyard that Auburn's playing in. Let's forget about the Tide. I apologize for even mentioning them, but I started down that road. We're going to stick to Auburn, and we're going to stick to Gus Malzahn's latest group of talent that he's brought in, which ranks about 8th or 9th in the country. It's a pretty good class.
It is a good group, Mark, and you don't offend me by mentioning Alabama. That doesn't bother me in the least. No big deal there. I mean, they are the perennial conference team in the country. They're in our division of the conference, so no big deal. No inferiority complex here.
All right. There shouldn't be, because it's a top 10 class. It's a top 10 to 15 program, and there should be no apologies there. So Gus Malzahn obviously reached his heights a few years ago, and the program, we've been kind of searching for what kind of program he's going to lead, if he's going to still be the guy going into the future. He's been kind of on the high wire to a certain extent. Is this class going to help him out? And what are some of the highlights of National Signing Day here in 2017 on the Plains?
It'll be a couple years before we can truly tell what effect this class is going to have. However, when you talk about this group, it's definitely a top-heavy bunch. Jared Stedham coming in at quarterback is one of the main keys to this class. If he's very successful at the quarterback position, a successful program, at least in terms of, say, getting to 10 wins, that's where they need to get back to. You look at the running back position, Devon Barrett is a good football player, but that's not a position that is of dire straits at Auburn. Then you flip over to offensive tackle. That is a big-time need for the Auburn family, because they have some good offensive linemen, but there are guys that are guard, right tackle type players. Calvin Ashley at 6'8", 311 pounds is going to be a big factor in how good this class is. If he can anchor down a tackle spot, preferably the left tackle spot, for about 3 years, it will be successful from that standpoint. You throw in big Austin Troxell at 6'7", 325 out of Madison Academy, that's another guy that could anchor down a tackle spot for this team, preferably right tackle going into the future.
Jamie joins us on a regular basis here at Mark Rogers TV and has a different perspective concerning his work there at Preps Nation. Join him on his website. Follow him on Twitter. You're going to gain a different perspective on high school and college football. Jamie, maybe some things I tend to ask you a little bit different questions than the rest of the guys that I have on here because of your work. Anything that stood out to you in evaluating players this year?
Yeah, I thought this year the country had a good wide receiver crop. I also noticed some tendencies of players changing. Of course, everybody wants to go to Alabama and some of the big programs. However, I saw several guys choose some non-Power 5 teams over Power 5 teams. You hear that every year, but a lot of times these guys lose the offer, or it's not a committable offer from the Power 5 team. So they choose somebody from the MAC or whatnot. However, in a case of two guys at one of the national powerhouse schools, McGill-Toolen, two wide receivers chose, one in Marlon Williams, who's a longtime USC commitment, chose to go to Central Florida over LSU. The LSU offer was a committable offer. Also, his teammate followed suit in Jalen Tolbert, who got late offers from Vanderbilt and Michigan State, took a good visit to Michigan State, had a good time, however, chose to take an offer from South Alabama, who did not offer him until the last few weeks. And that is obviously a close school in proximity to them, but he's also getting to play baseball at South Alabama. So you're seeing some guys that are citing the issues of playing time and the ability to excel early over the larger offer. So that's something that I've seen the last year or two, and is a very interesting dynamic, especially with two guys that I have dealings with.
All right. As we approach spring football, we'll have Jamie on a number of times, as many times as he'll have us to talk Auburn and the SEC. Jamie, we always appreciate the time.